Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to the 16th round of One Hub Racing, which takes us here to the Sochi Autodrome here for the Russian Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box is Mr. Jamie Metcalf. Jamie, long time no see. Hope you've enjoyed your Christmas break. I'm back for some racing. I hope you are too.
Yeah, it's been very good, and it's a nice break, and we had a decent race last week, and had a few surprises in the results last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I hear, Jamie, there's been a couple of changes behind the scenes. Driver personnel, drivers leaving, new drivers arriving. Just give us a quick rundown of who's where.
Well, we know Suarez, who made his debut last week in the Haas, and he's looking to do a bit of a better result than last week. He had a bit of a messy debut last week, and he's looking to do a strong performance now. So, in the racing point, our line who did some really good races this season, he sadly had to drop out due to work reasons, and we've got a familiar driver in his place. We've got Dane Star, our race premium driver. He has returned, and we've got a podium in Baku early on the season. He's looking to maybe improve. He's had a break from league racing. He's all refreshed. He's ready to go again. Yeah,
the Dane Star is back. Oh, well, I know about Dane Star, obviously one of our race premium members. Not to forget as well, Westy is our other race premium member in tonight's race. Just take us through Dane Star then, Jamie. Obviously you've known him for quite some time now. Yeah. Just what can we expect from the Danish driver?
You can expect really good race pace. He's a very aggressive driver. He loves his overtakes, and I believe he's looking to get a proof of point. Obviously, he's been out for a long time, but he's back and he wants to get a good result in his return.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Getting a good start on your return is crucial as he makes his way back. I did say Danish. I was, of course, joking. He's Icelandic, but you get the idea. You get the picture. I'll probably get some stern words in my ear from Dane Star for saying that. But oh well, what are you going to do? It was good for a joke. But we also had SJ and I believe it was Gavin YouTube who got their first. Both of them got their first podiums last time out. I mean, Jamie, you've had the amazing feeling of finishing on the podium for the first time.
Yeah.
Just how does that feel?
It was very special. Yeah, they had good drivers. SJ particularly was near the back of the grid. He obviously started on the alternate strategy, and I think without the VSC he probably could have won that race, and he's here now. So let's have a chat with him.
Well, let's hope that he is here. Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So first podium last time out. That must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it really was. I was a bit disappointed I couldn't get my lap in on the mediums, but I did a bit of hard to medium running in practice, so I can make it work, and I did, so that was good.
So it's safe to say you're looking forward to the Russian Grand Prix?
Yeah, I am. I want to get another podium and really keep myself going on this good streak that I have.
Yeah, and speaking of momentum, how does a podium like that help you towards the next race? How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm confident. I'm pretty high on confidence, and ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Don't worry. We'll edit that out. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so we're heading towards the closing stages of the season. Of course, not many races to go. Just a handful to go. How would you rate your season so far?
Well, I've only had a few races, and so far it's been all right. That podium really was really good. So I just want to show that I'm a good driver for these remaining races and keep on getting some podiums, maybe even a win. And yeah.
And final question from me before I hand over to Jamie. Say there's a chance of you winning a race. Which would be your favourite track out of the remaining we have to get a race win?
Quite looking forward to USA. I'm pretty quick around there, and I'm looking forward to a race because I've not really had many, but I'm look good in practice.
Well then, we'll have to keep an eye on you at the Circuit of the Americas when we go to Texas. Jamie, I'll hand over to you.
Hi. As I was saying, obviously last week you did that good race and near the back of the grid and got the second place. Do you think, I came out of that race thinking if once that virtual safety car, you could have maybe won that race. Do you think that was a possibility, or do you think Westy was maybe a little bit too far ahead?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I did a lot of practice with Westy and our pace was pretty similar, but that VSC really cost me a lot of time.
Yeah, they all got a free pit stop effectively.
Yeah,
and also, you're qualifying this season, it's been mixed. It hasn't probably underperformed a little bit in qualifying.
Yeah.
We say, and
I'm just really lacking.
Work on that, would you?
Yeah, I've just been really lacking on the final stint when the track's quickest. I just keep on invalidating, it seems. But yeah, I'm really going to try and work on that for this race. Obviously, invalidation's going to be pretty easy, but just try and get a few laps in and hope for the best.
Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you have a good race tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck out there. Have fun. And
thank you very much.
We'll see you hopefully at the checkered flag in one piece.
Yep.
Well, Jamie, it's a track that sort of divides the F1 community, isn't it? You either love this track or you hate this track. Which camp are you siding with?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of this track. I find it's not the best track in the world. But it can offer a good race, and I do think turn 2, turn 3. That's I really like them two corners. That's quite a high. No, sorry, turn 3 and turn 4. Sorry, but that's quite a tricky corner, and you can get some really good racing down there. But I find this track maybe it's sometimes it's quite hard to tell where you are on track because it looks quite similar in different places. But yeah, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the track, but it can offer good racing. It's more so in real life more so in the game than real life.
Yeah, I can confirm that I had a fantastic race when I used to race on this game. It was about, I think the whole entire points, so first to 10th, I think it was first to 11th actually, were all one behind each other. It was an intense first stint. Everyone was pretty much on the same strategy, and then by the time we got to the pit stops it all had calmed down because of course people were double stacking and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I have good memories of this track. It's a track that has treated me okay. I never got a great result around here, but I did pretty well. But it's all about consistency. It's all about being smooth. It's a track that kind of reminds me a little bit of Catalonia. There's a lot of high-speed corners around this track. There's not many heavy braking zones, and if they are, they're normally 90-degree corners, so that means the apex is a bit tighter. That means you can't really force a move up the inside. But then again, you've got long straights here. Obviously, you're full throttle through turn 1, so the first braking zone of the track is turn 2, and then you've got that second DRS zone which goes around the left-hand. Of course, we saw Carlos Sainz in a Toro Rosso, I believe in 2015, have a massive moment there. And we've also seen Grosjean go off at turn 3 here, this long left-hander which solely relies on that aerodynamic grip. His ass just simply didn't have the grip, lost the back end, and he went straight into the wall. So it's a track that looks the sort of dormant circuit on paper, but actually when you get into it, it does require a lot of your concentration.
Yeah, them walls, certain places are very close, and obviously we saw in the F2 this season, we had that, and turn 1, turn 2 quite dangerous. We've seen the F2 this season where there was that massive pile up, and obviously a few times in F1 as well. Remember Kvyat and Vettel in 2016? That was obviously Kvyat's last ever race in Red Bull Racing. He got dropped after that, and also we had a couple of years ago when Palmer and Grosjean, they came to blows there. So yeah, that turn 1 is very dangerous. It's such a long run. Obviously it's not turn 1, it's turn 2, but it realistic terms it is turn 1, because turn 1 officially is a little kink. It's quite a long run down there, and you're going to have a very cold break, so I expect a few guys to run wide on the early stage of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the first drivers starting to make their way out onto the track, just trying to see who the first one is. The problem with overcast weather is you can't really see the cursor next to the drivers' names. However, there is Cass making his way out onto the track then, as he makes his way through that pit lane. It's quite a narrow pit lane as well, very bumpy as you go through that right-handed turn in the pit lane, so you've got to be very careful there. If the tyres aren't warmed up, if the car's not warmed up, then you can really find yourself in a world of trouble. I haven't seen anybody get it wrong in that pit lane yet, but there's a first time for everything. I remember actually, I think it was the Pinnacle Tier where we saw all those seasons ago. I say all those seasons ago, it was only a couple of seasons ago, that great title fight where Samster was in a Ferrari. Remember coming here with with Luke. And we saw that big moment where Pete in the McLaren just lost the back end under braking after turn 3. It's such a bizarre moment, but it kind of really settled the title at that race. We're nowhere near that one today, though, which is quite good.
It reminded me a little bit of the thing Austria a few years ago where Heidfeld creamed Sato. I remember a little bit of that. So cars out of control in a different corner, but because of the nature of the run off that corner, if you do that, it can easily happen, and you can easily run through the car. And obviously Sam was very lucky there. He could be involved in that, and that went a long way to help him secure his championship that season.
I remember talking to him after the race, and he said there was a lot of expletives said in that moment. But
I watched this video when he was heavy breathing. It was like he's having a heart attack. He was just breathing so heavily. He couldn't believe how fortunate he was to get through that. And things happen like that in racing. You know it's your season.
Well, let's ride on board with Cass then as he makes his way now all the way towards turn 1, flat out through the right-hander here as you now focus on that braking zone towards turn 2. You can see the sun trying to poke through there as he now tries to spot his braking zone for the second turn, braking at the 100-metre board. Quite tight on the entry, but you've got to focus on this exit because now here comes the long left-hander of turn number 3. Full throttle through here, especially in qualifying trim. Now into the braking zone of turn 4. Very easy to overcommit to this corner with the wall fast approaching on the left hand side. Now time to focus on turn number 5. Tight on the entry and it opens up on exit, so be warned about that one. Here we go then through turn 6 and then in towards turn 7. Mid-speed corner this one as you now focus on the double left-hander of turns 8 and 9. Be careful about overcommitting through turn 8. Very easy to catch yourself on the curb on the outside. Now towards turn 10, braking hard there in towards that mid-speed corner. Now you've got the DRS through turn 11, through 12, in towards the braking zone of turn 13. Be very careful here because the turning point of turn 12 here is also the braking zone for turn 13. Very easy to lock up in that section through turn 14, and then this is where the camber starts to plan an effect through turn 15. You can see it cambers away from the apex there, then cambers towards the apex of turn 16. Use that to your advantage. Now it's pretty much flat as we head towards the last 2 right angled corners through turn 17 and then onwards towards turn 18. Focus on the exit here, compromise your entry if you have to as he now crosses the line. A 132.7 there from Cass, beaten then by Will G, who puts it on provisional pole 130.7 on a set of soft tyres.
That's Foxy dude, that's Foxy change PSN and C3. He's binned it at the end of sector 2, undercut sector 3. He's got wing damage, he's spun it coming out the corner. He's got down the long straight now, so his laps are in. But yeah, good lap there by Will. You have to say he's open pole by a second. So yeah, good everything so far as you know has spun it across the line, and he's got Williams there as well. So one of them two have collided to starting their laps.
Yeah, Danestar currently in 3rd place, then Kern is in 2nd place, as you say, he's spun it now, coming around the final corner. But a set of 131.6 there on a set of those soft tyres. Jarnell there is deciding to make his own track going through turns 1 and 2. We've got PB in 6th place, 134.1 on a set of the hard tyres. I think there's a little bit more time to unlock there from PB, especially on those hard tyres. Ulbrich there, 141.2. That's not a representative lap time. We've got Speedy Suarez there starting a lap time. Gavin YouTube, 3rd place last time out. We'll be hoping to continue that momentum, but he's backed out of this lap time as he's got a Williams behind him. I believe that's Clone on an out lap. Oh no, it's not, because here comes Clone around the final corner. Completely the wrong car. Got the team colours wrong beside the name. We've got Forbes there who's making his way towards turn number 5. SJ making his way towards the final couple of corners through turn 17, then onwards towards turn 18. Nice and smooth through there. Focus on the exit, and PB puts it, SJ puts it into 2nd place, front row of the grid, 31.5. But Will there, 30.7 from the Ferrari driver right now. That is a great lap time.
Yeah, that looks, because SJ is a quick driver, that looks a really tough time to beat. And obviously, Will amazingly is yet to win a race. He's shown so much pace since he's joined. He had quite a few pole positions, and he's been in positions to win races, but it hasn't fell for him. Will today be his day, or will he have to help his teammate in the championship battle? That's intriguing. Will he have to help Westy? Because Cass, I believe, he's about 12 points behind, I believe. So he's still a championship battle on. Leon looks to be out of it if Westy gets a good result today.
Yeah, that's the important thing as well, as Speedy Suarez and Forbes both come back into the pits, not happy with their lap times, at that point, so they're both back into the pit lane. Meanwhile, Slater, under the radar, has set a 33.0, just under a 33.1 there, just under by a thousandth of a second. PB Racing is going to go onto a set of medium tyres, so let's see how that goes as we see a Red Bull leaving the pit lane. I think that's Cass there who's come back in. Meanwhile, Clone has put it up to 5th place there in the Toro Rosso, 32.2, but again, more potential to unlock there. The problem that the drivers might face in this qualifying session is that it is cloudy, it's overcast right now. That means the track's not quite warming up to its potential. That could have an effect on the grip these drivers have.
Yeah, it means they probably, yeah, exactly. It means they probably have to go a little more aggressive than they want to on the warm-up lap to get the tyres up to temperature, which may give you a little bit more tyre wear. But yeah, these are not ideal. And them guys on the hard tyres, they're going to be really struggling because this is not ideal. You need the perfect conditions for them to work, and these are far from optimal range. So them hard tyre guys are going to struggle. But yeah, as you say, you got to be a little more aggressive on the outlap on the softs.
I'm hearing, or I'm seeing in the chat, that Gavin in the Renault is reporting rain at the end of qualifying. So that's probably why we're seeing all of these drivers out here on the soft tyres, or the more aggressive strategy to get these lap times over the line. Albrecht currently in 10th place with a 136.0, but not on a fast lap right now. We've got Unknown, who's in 13th place. Flavel making his way, I believe that's through turn 9 there. Onwards now towards turn 10. We've got Forbes and Westy, Gavin on an outlap, as well as Skeven and Unknown. So a lot of these guys on an outlap. We've got Clone coming back to the pit lane, but it's just such a crowded track right now where everybody's trying to get these lap times in before that potential rain hits.
Yeah. We had this in Spa, where a lot of guys got caught out, but they were out on like hard tyres early on and they didn't get a lap in and they got caught out. The main guy caught out that time was Leon. Got sat from back grid, and these guys, if that was them, I'd just go for a lap on softs and get the track position, because if you factor in and going around these hard tyres, it may come back to haunt you in the race. As this track, you don't want to be starting. This track, if you start near the back, it's quite a long way back. 18 drivers, very good turnout, and yeah, you don't want to start near the back here because if there's cars spinning in that turn 1, you may get involved in it because they may be recovering and you may get hit by them. So all these guys, I do a lot now. It's Ollie Flavel's gone 2nd place there under the radar a little bit. Ollie Flavel, who's not had the best of run the past few races, he was leading the championship early on, but he's dropped way down the order now, and he's 2nd in qualifying. So good return to form for the Taron driver there.
Yeah, the man from Jersey, 4th place in the championship right now on 137. Just to take you quickly through the order, it is 13 points is the gap that separates Westy and Cass. As Westy, I believe, isn't Racington.
Westy is, yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's hasn't set a lap yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see him now. Okay. There's a bizarre moment for me. I do apologise. He's just put it in 2nd place, front row of the grid. That'll be why I couldn't find him, because I was looking at the bottom. He just said a lap time. That'll probably be why. But there is your championship leader. Leads the championship by 13 points, as Will in the Ferrari 130.4 goes even quicker on those tyres. It's fair to say then he's definitely got a quality trim on. But yeah, Westy, top of the table, top of the standings. Cass is in 2nd, of course, the Danish driver there on 190 points in the Red Bull. Leon on 183, and then it is Flavel on 137, so quite a big gap there. I'll tell you what, James Slater, who's currently 5th place in the championship, he's been one of the stars of this season, very consistent in that Red Bull.
He's had a lot of top 5 finishes, and of course, if you talk about Podium, I believe he got a 2nd place, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Hungary he got a 2nd place, or maybe it was Belgium, I can't remember, but he definitely got a 2nd place somewhere. It was a Red Bull 1-2, so yeah, he's in Belgium under the radar. He's been in and around them top 5 all season. He's not the quickest guy in the tier, but what he does, he gets the job done. He always finishes races, he minimises penalties, and if you do that, you're going to make a penalty in the tier.
Absolutely. Jarno as well, who was looking at being a star of this season. Currently 7th place in the championship, 57 points. He has a win to his name this season. And where has it not gone right there, Jamie?
He's been involved in a few incidents past few races, and I think after that his head's dropped in the races. I've seen him when he's like down the order, and he just makes mistakes after that. I think Jarno is a real confidence driver. He needs a good qualifying. He hasn't nailed qualifying past few races, and if you can get like a top 6 qualifying, maybe then because he's got the pace to fight for wins for sure. And he's proven early on the season, but recently it's just gone off a cliff for him. A bit like Ollie.
Well, we're having a look at other drivers up and down the order. We've got Gavin here making his way through the final couple of corners. Let's see what sort of lap time he'll be able to post in the Renault. Hasn't set a lap time just yet, with 5.5 minutes left of the session. So Gavin now making his way through the final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line. It's a 31.6, but it was invalidated, so he's going to have to go again.
Yeah, obviously the track limits around here, they are quite difficult. Obviously you've got a lot of curbs, and if you hit inside them like did they, but totally missed turn one there. So he needs to get back to the pit. So you can see this rain coming, and he needs to get a lap in. 5 minutes to go, and he hasn't got a lap on the board yet. So he's going to get back to the pits and try and put them set tyres on before this rain hits.
Yeah, neither have Skeven, Speedy Suarez or Forbes. Forbes is now out of the pit lane on track. But looking at the sky, it doesn't look very encouraging. That rain looks like it's on its way. But for us, we don't know when that rain is going to hit. We're just looking... Actually, you know what? I think... my eyes deceived me for a second there. I thought, just for a split second, I saw a raindrop on the car of Flavel there, but I was obviously mistaken. Just creating false drama here.
A lot of guys that are coming out now for final run. So obviously, yeah, I could see rain in the pit lane. I'm in the pit lane shot. I thought I could see rain there, but I don't know if that's just the clouds. It's hard to tell. It's definitely coming. You can see it's getting a lot darker, so it's definitely coming in the next few minutes. So these guys, they're starting their last runs a couple of minutes earlier. They want to get them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if this rain is on its way, they've got to get these lap times done and dusted whilst it is still dry, whilst it's not raining here out on track. The Icelandic man, Danestar, making his way now towards turn 4. Onwards then he'll go towards turn 5, looking to get a good lap time on the board as he makes his way now through that turn 5. Obviously very tricky corner that. It's tight on the entrance, but then you can carry more speed through the exit. Through turn 7 we go. You can really attack that corner as we now head our way towards turns 8 and 9. And yep, it is starting to rain out there then as Skeven has retired from the session. He's seen... Yeah, he's just parked it up. He's seen how much it's raining out there, and he realised he's not going to get back to the pits, put on a fresh set of softs, and then go for another run. That's not going to happen. So Danestar here will ride on board with him to the end of his lap in the racing point then, heading through the final sector. You can see that rain is coming down now, and it's all over the car. It's all over the camera shot as well. But it's just about dry enough, I think, for Danestar to get a lap time on the board. We've got Clone, who's retired from the session, as has PB Racing. Lots of these drivers will be retiring now. You can see it's starting to get a little bit greasy in places out on the track. Danestar comes across the line, puts it into 7th place, 31.4. Flavel here is making his way now through the final sector, looking to try and keep it under control as much as possible. I believe he's got an Alfa Romeo ahead of him. I believe that will be Albrecht. It could be Jarno or Albrecht, actually, as they now make their way towards the couple of corners. Whoever it was, he's coming to the pit lane anyway. Flavel has stayed out now through the final corner here, and towards that start-finish line, it's 3rd place by 0.02 of a second. He's behind Westy there. Jarno there, so... he's getting the back end tail happy there, and it's all about that sort of luck wherever you are out on track, as Gavin has retired from the session as he invalidated his last corner and won't set another lap time is the clean version.
Yeah, I think all the laps gone now. I think Ollie Flavel, I think he would have got the front row, but I think the final
big moment there for Jarno. He just completely dropped it out of turn 9. Sorry to cut across you there, but that is how treacherous these conditions are now. The track has changed significantly over a very short period of time, and I think you're right. All of these drivers now will be abandoning their lap times as we make our way towards this ending of the qualifying. So we'll have 90 seconds here, Jamie, to have a little bit of a podcast. It's about all we can do now, but some of the guys in the chat, they're asking who Will G is, who puts it on pole position. Well, yeah, I think you can answer that one, Jamie.
Yeah, it's Fox did his racing was past 6-7 races, and he's just changed his PSN name. During the break, we had like an amnesty where people could change the PSN names if they wanted. Obviously, people like to do that nowadays, and yeah, a few of these guys got new PSN names. Some of them are more obvious, but a couple like Will G and Casse, they're not that obvious. But yeah, Will G is the Ferrari, and Casse is a legend. As DRS is now been disabled, no surprise there, as it's properly wet now.
It is properly wet now as Flavel now tiptoes his way back into the pit lane. Albrecht is out there still on track as well. But yeah, I mean, you can see how much these track conditions have changed. I think Albrecht actually is using these conditions to have a little bit of wet weather running. He's on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, I wonder if this indicates there's rain in the race if he's doing this. You wouldn't do this if it's a dry race. So yeah, I wonder if this indicates there might be a bit of weather in the race.
Maybe, and this is his perfect opportunity to just have a little bit of a lap time out there. He's qualified P12, whatever happens, so he's just thinking, yeah, I might as well go for a lap, but this will be an out lap anyway, so...
Cut out, yeah, finish as soon as it's over. Yeah.
Well, it hasn't, so...
I think my timer's out of sync again. I think whenever I host lobby, the timer goes out of sync, so... Yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe someone else can let us know, because yeah, the checkered flag would have come out by now. Z3 would have been had a checkered flag next to his name by now. So Albrecht now making his way through the final couple of corners. I guess we're going to go for a lap time and a lap on board with Albrecht in these tricky conditions. No, we're not, because the session has ended. But Will G, who used to be Foxy Dude, has put it on pole position for the Russian Grand Prix.
All 5 foot row 2.
So here we are then for the qualifying results. By 7/10 of a second, Will G puts it on pole position with Westy in second, Flavel in third with Cass in fourth, Kern in fifth with Jarno sixth, Danestar in seventh, SJ in eighth, Z3 ninth with Clone rounding out the top 10. It's Forbes in 11th, Albrecht 12th, Slater 13th, PB Racing 14th, Speedy Suarez 15th, Unknown in 16th, Skeven 17th and Gavin in 18th. Skeven and Gavin did not set a lap time during that qualifying session, and of course all of the top 10 qualified on the soft tyres, so if it's a dry start, those are the tyres they'll have to set or start the race on.
Yeah, maybe Forbes, maybe starting that'd be the worst thing for him, of course, because you will get a fresh set of tyres if it's a dry start, sorry. And if you took Will out of that, then 12th, then 12th, second to 12th separate by a second, so it's still pretty close. But apart from pole position, it's a dry start and sunshine as well.
Absolutely, and we're just it's dry for now. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes, but it looks a lot less ominous in the sky than earlier on in qualifying, so at least that's a positive. Fingers crossed we have the best of the weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously Russia, this is a seaside resort in Russia, so you do tend to get nice weather here. And amazing the Winter Olympics here. I don't know how that even works, having the Winter Olympics in a coastal area, but that's me anyway.
Oh, they made it work though. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're now moments away from starting the formation lap, and we'll get a chance to see at least what the drivers outside the top 10 are planning. So we'll get underway for the formation lap, as of course the rules state that you have to start the race on the tyres you set your fastest lap time in qualifying if you finish inside the top 10. So that means if you're outside of the top 10, you get a free choice of fresh tyres. So Forbes has gone for the medium tyres, Albrecht the medium tyres, as well as James Slater in 13th. PB Racing has gone for the soft tyre, Speedy Suarez on the mediums, as is Unknown, as is Skeven, and Gavin at the back there will be starting on a set of the soft tyres. Not a great qualifying session for the Renault cars.
No, especially the back row of the grid almost, with Skeven just in between, and the McLaren driver, which were good at qualifying recently. So yeah, obviously Unknown has had a few good races recently. He got a 4th place, I believe, in the race, and Gavin got the podium last week. So them guys looking to recover while soon he's got this brief injury reports out the race. So I'll mention our sponsors Next Level Racing. Obviously this season, all 4, as you already know, all 4 drivers will be getting a trophy and also a wheel stand delivered by Next Level Racing, free of postage and packaging and all that. And if you fancy one yourself, go on that website, put in a code 1HUB10. That's numeric. That's 1HUB10. 1HUB10, and there's code section website. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. The pressure of sponsors gets us all. But just an update for you elsewhere in One Hub Racing, that it is official now. White Fountain has won the driver's title in the Precision tier. He pretty much dominated that tier. Yeah. It was all but confirmed, but tonight it is confirmed. So a big congratulations to White Fountain. We're now going to focus on the Pinnacle tier, where it's still a wide open championship. 13 points the gap between the two leaders of Westy and Cass here.
Sorry,
even the formation lap, you still feel the pressure. But here we go then, gridding up. A long time to wait for Will G, as he just patiently waits. That's all he can do, and now those nerves can get the better of you sometimes, but we're starting to grid up, and I believe Gavin YouTube will be coming around the final corner. There he goes, and now onto the grid. So we are now moments away from the Russian Grand Prix here in One Hub Racing for the Pinnacle tier, and it is Will G on pole position. And here we go then. I believe this will be 5 red lights, but of course it tricks you, so it will start at some point. Here we go, we're underway here in Russia, and it's a good start from Will G as we make our way now through turn 1 we go. The two Ferraris have got a great start, but watch out for Flavel. He's taken advantage of the slipstream as we see a Renault in the background there, and that's Gavin YouTube, I believe, as we now head down towards turn 2 into the first braking zone as Cass has left the session. Meanwhile, SJ Racing, the two racing points come together in turn 2. There goes Jarnell up the inside, as well as Z3 as they make their way now down towards turn 4. It's going to be a tight squeeze there, but Z3 somehow finds his way through and gets now up past both racing point cars. Good start there from the guy in the Mercedes of Z3. Cass has managed to join back into the session, but he's at the back of the grid. That's not really great for him whatsoever. Meanwhile, Suarez there trying to get past Unknown, and both Renaults there are in trouble. They're 15th and 16th. Unknown tries to move up the inside there, not quite happening for him as they now make their way towards the next corner. But we've got Forbes there who's making a move on PB Racing as well as they make their way now through this well, it's not quite as straight as we now make our way through 11 towards turn 12 and then the braking zone of turn 13. Meanwhile, that's Z3 trying to move up the inside of the racing point into 13. He'll have the outside for 14. Is he going to be able to hold on here? No, he can't, because SJ's got the inside line and will take that position away. Z3, though, not giving up on this position. I believe one of the cars in the background is in trouble there. As we see, that's we're going to see a lot of cars coming into the pit lane. Meanwhile, Unknown here breezes past, does he? Speedy Suarez into the penultimate corner. No, not quite, as Suarez hangs on. But Will G then leading by 1.1 second. He means business today. Westy is in second, Flavel in third, Kern in fourth, with Jarnell fifth, SJ in sixth, Z3 seventh, Forbes in eighth, Slater ninth, and Jonas Olbrecht rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, I just saw PB is on the approach to the chicane. He clouted the back of Rob Forbes, and Rob Forbes spun around, and there's a bit of a pile up there, and he got wind damage, and both racing point drivers have wind damage as well, so SJ's a bit limping. That's why he's struggling at the moment for grip. And Danestar's pitted, so I'm surprised SJ pits next lap.
Yeah, it's all about keeping your wing clean here, because you need that aero so badly around a track like this as Kern runs wide there and have a little bit of dirty tyres for the first part at least of this second sector. But by the time he reaches turn 10, you'd like to think those tyres are clean, still within range, but of course no DRS activated yet. We have to wait until the next lap to do that, as he's got pressure from behind from Jarnell, battling away for fourth place. Meanwhile then, Cass has to go back through the order. He's already 13 points down in the championship, but he's got a move done on Skeven then, and Danestar's out of the race, as we'll ride on board with Gavin and see what happened. There's debris strewn across the track here. Let's see, and I think, yeah, that's a retirement from the menu entirely, so that's Danestar out.
I think he hit the wall coming out the pits, and he got damaged yet again. He already been in pits to replace his front wing. I saw him coming out the wall, so I presume he understeered into the wall and got wind damage, and he's hauled it a day as Jarnell's got a great run on Cullen here.
That's right on board then with the Alfa Romeo chasing down the Williams as we make our way towards turn 2. Kern tries to block off the inside line. Nothing doing though. Jarno has to go around the outside at turn 2. It become the inside at turn 3. We've seen so many cars come together at that part of the circuit. Now they're having to go side by side through turn 3. So close together on the run now towards turn 4. The Williams has the inside line. Jarno the outside line. Can they keep it clean through here? Just about. Now on the run towards turn 5. The Williams still has the inside line. Through turn 5 we go, and Kern holds on for now. Jarno still trying to force a move through 6 and then towards turn 7, but he can't find a way through, and the Williams holds on.
Yeah, that was very good defending for the Williams driver. And Jarno was trying to break down the outside, but he just ran out of room there. He's got to hold back. He's got no DRS straight now here. If he gets good X out here, he's got an opportunity to come really wide. That's going to affect his run.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how that works against him. If it does work against him, here is Jarno then with that powerful DRS making his way around the outside at turn 12. He'll have the inside for turn 13. Can he make this move stick now? No, Kern's still on the inside there as they're still battling away for this position. A little bit of an uprise here in towards the next corner. The Williams has the inside line. Again, Jarno there. Oh, he taps the wall. Too aggressive with the steering. Oh, he's got around there and into the wall he goes. Now, where was that contact? Be it with the car behind. I saw SJ was right behind at the time. A little bit of butterfingers meant that I didn't quite catch this. But as you say, yes, that's Z3 also into the pits.
Flavel's got to run arrested here. He's going to take the move into turn 2 and he's up to second place.
Yeah, good move from Flavel, using that DRS to his advantage, but now the gap to the leader is 2.8 seconds. Meanwhile, a bit of team orders there as Cass now moves past James Slater and gets himself now up to 7th place. Good recovery drive from him so far. Any points he can recover from this, having disconnected from the very start of this race, will be a bit of a bonus, I think.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He's done well though, he's up to 7th place. He's done pretty well. He's trying to do a Max Verstappen style drive around here where he's over in the top 6. He's got Forbes ahead of him, obviously Forbes. He's on the medium tyres. He's not, I mean, he's in a good position, but he's not really gaining on the cars ahead. So he's going to have to hang in there and hope for the best. He's going a bit, Forbes is struggling, I can see, he's really struggling for grip.
Yeah, we're running on board with Skeven at the moment as we make our way up towards turn 10. You can see right on the back of Ulbrich, they'll all have a bit of DRS on each other. We'll see what Skeven can do then as we make our way towards that turn 11 there. It's a very slight corner. You can see that McLaren has got a boost of speed then through turn 12. Will he try and move down the inside at turn 13? He's going to go for it, you know. The Alfa Romeo has to take action there by going off the circuit. Skeven then still trying to hold it around the outside as we make our way now up towards turn 15. The McLaren tries to go around the outside. He'll have the inside now for turn 16 as they try and go side by side. And now Skeven will have the better run towards turn 17 and gets the move done.
Yeah, bit forceful there for the McLaren drive, but it's got the move done. But Jonas got opportunity to do DRS now. You can get the repass here. But Skeven's got a pretty good exit out final corner, so it's an opportunity for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's going to slipstream. Skeven's going to defend that inside line to force out to go around the outside. Or can he stick it down the inside? No, he backs out of it. So Skeven's got the move done.
Yeah, one defensive move, then one move back to the racing line. That is allowed, but you can see there Ulbrich looking for a move around the outside at turn 3. That's certainly unorthodox. That would be an understatement, but not finding the way past just yet. Not finding the way back through for the Alfa Romeo driver. Lap 5 of the Russian Grand Prix. There is Will G, leading by almost 3 seconds here. Flavel is in second, 2.9 seconds behind now. Westy in third, Kern in fourth, SJ 5th, Forbes in 6th, Cass there in 7th, Slater in 8th, Skeven 9th, Ulbrich 10th. Speedy Suarez in 11th, Z3 12th, Jarno in 13th, racing away with PB Racing as they now go through turn 3 here. Jarno around the outside here. He'll have the inside line for turn 4 if he can stick it around the outside. Up the inside of turn 4 he goes. They make contact. Are they both around? PB's around and then collects Jarno there. Both of them going very aggressively there. PB's actually got a 5-second penalty for causing a collision there between himself and Jarno. But I suppose that probably will be disputed in the steward's box. But PB just getting out of the way of his teammate there before he rejoins the track. Always a tricky place to make the move stick through 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, PB was hardest in the race, so yeah, I was on board with Jarno's and didn't get to see that from PB's perspective. But so I got the move done, and then suddenly I saw this belt of blue spinning, and we sort of, I think Jarno's very lucky there as Casse and get Forbes here around the outside, Forbes on that inside line, but Casse's got so much more drive. He get this move done easily, and he does.
Yeah, with the help of that DRS then, he's got the move done towards turn 2, and he's got up to 6th place. So he's now got 3 seconds between himself and SJ then, as he looks to try and now close in on more and more points. Remember, Westy currently in 3rd place. At the moment, he'll be scoring 15 points, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cass will be scoring 8 points. Yeah. So that leads me to believe it's 7 points the difference between them, and that means as it stands, Westy extends his lead to 20 points in the championship. But of course, we're only on lap 6.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, obviously. It's got pit stops to happen, pit stops to occur and all sorts. So yeah, it's a long way to go.
Long way to go for Skeeven. Meanwhile, he's trying to chase down Slater. This is for 8th place, and again Slater in the points because of instance around him. Meanwhile, Skeeven really closing in with that DRS. He's having to go around the outside at turn 12. Up the inside he'll go for turn 13. Will he keep it all under control in towards 14? He just about does though, and Skeeven gets up to 8th place. Played it very fine there, on the limit of control, but he's got the move done.
Yeah, good move from the McLaren drive up to 8th place. He looked to catch them 2 guys ahead. Skeevan, I've seen him race. He's got really good race pace, but he just can't get a qualifying together for some reason. He covers well, but he's on for a good result. He just keeps it clean. And Rob Forbes, he's still on the back of Casser here. He kept hanging back a bit. He could down the inside, to dive it down here. No, he backs out of it. It's just that little bit too far back. But he's doing well on moving tyres to be moving runner. But Skeevan, I'm pretty sure will catch these 2.
Yeah, if they continue battling the way they are, he's definitely going to catch him at some point. He's 2.9 seconds behind, so we'll have to keep an eye on that gap as it happens. Meanwhile then, Clone has got past Jarno here, down in towards turn 15, and he's got the move done. As now they make their way through 16. Jarno will try and have another move as we head towards the final 2 corners of the circuit. As you see there, Clone running a little bit deep into the penultimate corner, and Jarno just tapped the back of him. Wasn't expecting the Tauros to be that slow through the corner, I guess. But now he'll have a run of DRS. Of course, this is for 15th place. As Jarno now with the DRS, I think he was waiting for it to get that move done in towards turn 2, and Jarno now up a position to P15.
Yeah, it's the 12 points, 12 in the car ahead. So them 2 guys, they need a safety car. They're a good battle there, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bit of poke there, trying to back it up so they get ahead of the DRS, because the DRS is extremely powerful down that turn 1, turn 2 complex. As 2 Renault drivers are running pretty close together in 13th and 14th place. So obviously we had a lot of teammates collisions on lap 1. We had the Renaults, I believe, and the Racing Points colliding as SJ's in. So we got an early pit stop.
Yeah, one of the first to come into the pits then to make a scheduled stop. Meanwhile, Forbes then with the DRS breezes past Cass as we head now down towards turn 2. Will G, though, picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now, that could work against him if he racks up too many penalties. This might be a chance for Favel and Westy to think about this. If they keep it clean at the pace they're at, they might still have a chance of sneaking that race win.
Yeah, well, the gap was around 2.8 seconds when Favel passed Westy, and it did go down to about 2.5 seconds. I know now it's gone up to about 3.5 seconds. So Ollie's got decent. Favel's got decent pace here, and he could potentially get a race win if he keeps it clean. Because getting the penalty on lap 8, it only means one thing: you will get more penalties. Because around here, it's very easy to cut corners.
Slater currently in 8th place, Skeeven up to 7th. Of course, with that move, he's now trying to get a move on and try and catch the next car, which is Cass. And that gap is now 2.3 seconds. So that gap is coming down between himself and Cass as the two cars of Forbes and Cass battle away for that position. Meanwhile, then SJ's rejoined in pretty much clean air. He's running in 11th place right now as we see Clone getting past Jarno then as we head now towards the turn 4 there, and just about keeping it on the limits of control as Flavel, as you say, Flavel and Westy both into the pits then from 2nd and 3rd place. Westy in He'll be putting on a set of medium tyres. How about the man from Jersey? I think he'll be doing the same. Yes, he will. And away he will go. So that's going to promote some drivers up the field. But of course, there will yet to stop in this race. But speaking of a Will G here, leading the race now. Obviously, pit stops have happened, but 9 seconds to the car behind. How easy is it to just lapse into that sense of concentration? As actually Suarez, as I interrupt myself, Suarez and Flavel here are going to be side by side as we head towards turn 2. Suarez has just about stayed ahead, but that's not going to be good news for Flavel. He wanted that clean air. He might get a really good run here. Speedy Suarez won't have the grip through turn 3. Look at Flavel now go around the outside, up the inside at turn 4, gets the move done, and that was purely grip there from the McLaren. Fresh tyres against 8-lap-old mediums. What do you expect?
Yeah, that was easy. Obviously, around the outside, superior grip, and he had to get that move done. He couldn't afford to be stuck behind this guy for any longer, because look, he's pulled almost a second gap already. As Suarez almost wins it.
That was close. He got it back under control, but got a 3-second time penalty to add to his woes. But that could have ended a lot worse.
Yeah, he'd rather have a penalty than a broken wing or a DNF. So he'll take that penalty, I'm sure. As I noticed, SJ when he pitted, he did put a fresh wing on, so he did that whole first stint with a broken wing. So expect to see a bit more pace from him this stint.
Jarno and Kloner scrapping here for 15th place. They're swapping positions left, right and centre. Kern coming into the pit lane, picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's so easy to do around this track, speeding in the pit lane, but he's picked one up there, so he'll have to live with that. He can't serve it at this pit stop.
Yeah, Will's staying out. He's going for a long run in these soft tyres. Obviously, he's fancying not gripping these tyres, but he's going to lose a lot of ground to Ollie, who's in the clear air now. So Ollie's got to put together a few good laps, and he won't be in the lead, but he may be very close.
Well, it was 3 seconds, wasn't it, round about that, to each other before Flavel came in for his pit stop. So we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, yellow flags in sector 1, and that is Suarez around just at turn 2. He's rolled off the track, obviously lost the back end. Now the painful part of waiting for all the cars to come past, and he's just getting a little bit of time to get going here. Now he's got to wait again for the other car to pass, and now he can try and make his way through. But yeah, that's a lot of time lost. In fact, this front wing damaged that car. You were saying, Jamie, how it was so important. You know, you'd rather take the penalty than the front wing damage. Unfortunately for Suarez, now he's got both.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to have to pit. He's going to put the hard tyres on, because he's on the medium tyres, and he's going to have to put the hard tyres on again. And hard tyres, not that nice. They're quite slow, and this is a low tyre wear track, so you don't need the hard tyres in the ideal world, but it's really forced to, as Will does eventually pit.
Well, Will G has now come into the pit lane, as there's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. That is Gavin who's around there. That is at turn number, I think that's turn 9. And it is, he's got front wing damage there. So it's not a great race for Gavin either, as now he's got front wing damage, and surely he'll now have to come back to the pits.
It's like the close between Will and Ollie. I noticed this really, Will's come off the pit limits now, and Ollie's got down the pit straight. It's slightly close. I think Will still have the lead, but it's going to be a lot closer than what it was.
Well, he's Will G's rejoined there in the lead. You can see they're just in about the same camera shot. The time between them then heading into turn 2, 2.7, 3/10 was all that was lost there for Will G.
I think I overlooked that a little bit. I think quite misjudged where the pit exit was, but yeah, Clone and continues everlasting fight. I think they're letting each other through, to be fair, watching this, so they're holding each other up in a race.
Well, they might be having fun, to be fair. I mean, they've got that on their cards at the moment as they're making their way now towards the penultimate corner. At least they're not making too much contact and keeping it clean. That's the main thing.
Clean, yeah,
as they make their way through the final corner, as Clone now gets a 3-second time penalty as he makes his way now towards the back of the Alfa Romeo. We've got Speedy Suarez and Gavin in the pit lane. As here comes Clone then with the DRS moving towards the inside, but Jarno closes the door there. That was Vettel Hamilton-esque there. And here comes Clone now around the outside at turn 3. Is he going to back out of it? I think he has backed out of it to try and prioritise the exit, or the entrance, sorry, into turn 4, but he can't quite get that move done. Meanwhile, we're just going to jump ahead, are we, to towards Will G if Clone can't find a way past. No, he can't, because Will G on these medium tyres now on the back of Ulbrich. Now this is going to be crucial. He'll have some DRS here, losing the back end slightly as Gavin YouTube has now retired from the race. Will G then gets past Ulbrich, and well, to be fair to Jonas, he didn't make that move difficult whatsoever, moved off the racing line. Yeah,
I've seen it a lot of Ulbrich. When he's fighting the car that's not in his race, he's quite courteous. He just let them through as far as the DNF draws. So them two had messy races, and they both ended in the wall. I believe one of them binned it in turn 3, looking at the yellow flag, and one of them binned it here in turn 4. So yeah, not a good race for them two. Yeah, Jonas is a very courteous racer. He knows who to fight, so he's quite intelligent in that. But as he hits the wall, and speaking of being an intelligent racer, he's just hit the wall there lazily and gave himself wing damage.
Well, that's not good for Ulbrich at all, and you can see their left-hand side front wing damage as Clone and Jarnell here are the closest battle out on track. They're doing it for the fans, Jamie, and I don't think they're disappointed with this.
No, it's very good, obviously. This is going to take the stats up a little bit from this track, so yeah, everyone helps as Jarnell gets by again. Once the next lap, Clone will get by again, I am sure of it, as these are the only two cars in DRS range. We might as well stick with these two for a little bit more whilst we wait for Will to catch up with James later.
Well, Clone here still looking for a way past and trying to make it permanent, but between the two of them, hard tyres for Jarnell, medium tyres for Clone. Clone at some point will have to come back to the pit lane, but look at this now, up the inside at turn 5, he gets the move done. Jarnell though has the outside line, he's got the better traction out of the corner, but he's got a longer distance to cover around the outside at turn 6, round the outside at turn 7, just about keeps it within track limits, through now into turn 8 and turn 9. The Toro Rosso now using that curb to his advantage. He'll go up the inside at turn 10 now. Can he try and get that move done? No, he can't. Meanwhile then, we're going to be watching Will G then take another position away from Slater. Meanwhile, Flavel gets past, he breezes past Ulbrich there. That was brave from Ulbrich because of course he's got less front wing aero. He's obviously trying to stick it out to his pit stop now.
Yeah, you want to try and get to the window when you're on the soft tyres. So yeah, a couple laps of pain, but it may work out from the end. But it's going to use a lot of time. 1 tyres and wing damage, that's not a good combination.
No, definitely not. I've been there before. You do not want to have that combination at all. Clone, meanwhile, still looking for a move at turn 17, then towards turn 18, as we are on lap 13 of this race, pretty much half distance now. It is Forbes who still leads, but yet to stop, as is Skeven in second place. Then Will G is in third, Slater fourth, yet to stop, Flavel in fifth, Ulbrich in sixth, yet to stop, as we see Clone once again with that DRS moving to the right hand side. He's got the inside line at turn 2. The Alfa Romeo will prioritise the exit in towards turn 3, and he's got some exit there. He's got the inside line, importantly, through this long left-hander at turn 3. The Toro Rosso has to tuck back into the slipstream in towards turn 4, and Jarnell once again holds on. Let's jump on board with Westy as he gets past Ulbrich, as Ulbrich once again just moves out of the way. He's not racing them, as you say. He's got the wrong carrot dangled in front of him. He's not going for that one, but he's now in 7th place. But with that front wing damage, the cars behind him are going to catch him a lot quicker.
So Westy weaving to say thanks for Jonas not putting too much of height. So yeah, it's good sportsmanship there from the Ferrari driver. And yeah, he'd be looking to close that ground on Flavel, and he's about 2.5 seconds behind, but he's in penalty range. So all West has to do today, I think he has to finish ahead of Casse, and he's doing that quite comfortably. He's about 7 seconds ahead of the Red Bull driver. So if he does that, he's done his job today.
Yeah, absolutely. SJ also is trying to catch the back of Cass here. 9 tenths between them. And for Cass here, obviously there's pit stops from drivers ahead that need to happen. But 9th place for him at the moment. His championship rival 3 positions ahead. One of those positions is a car that still needs to pit. He could have a couple more cars when Forbes and Skeven come into the pits.
Yeah, obviously Forbes and Skeven, they'll pit, but they'll come out with soft tyres. So I predict that they'll catch the likes to these guys. So yeah, he's in a net 5th place at the moment, but I don't think he's going to stay there, because them guys will pit and go on their much quicker soft tyres.
Forbes is coming in. Forbes into the pit lane he goes, and he's got to get that car stopped before the line, which he does. So the leader at that point, Forbes, comes into the pits and no doubt he'll be putting on a set of soft tyres as Will G sets the fastest lap of the race. The Mercedes car into the pits, on go a set of soft tyres, and away he goes. Now, where will he rejoin? I wonder whereabouts is Cass. He's making his way around the final corner. You know what? I think he's going to rejoin in front of Cass here. Obviously, he's in the Mercedes, so it's the longest way down the garage here. And actually, no, I think he has passed him. Yeah, he has easily. Now I've got one wrong, Jamie. So we're level now.
Yeah, it's quite a long way ahead, but obviously Forbes will have them fresh tyres, so do expect that gap to come down significantly, and do expect that Forbes to hit back his lap, because them softs are significantly quicker than the mediums. But he's got to do 12, 13 laps on them. That's quite a long way on them, but obviously he will have fresh softs, and it is lower fuel, so tyre wear should be a bit more easier now, with less fuel on fresh softs compared to the used softs the front wheels at the start on.
Absolutely. Cass here still in 8th place, trying to recover from that disconnection at the very start of this race. Meanwhile, Kern here is right behind Albrecht, and if we know Albrecht from these previous laps, he might just let Kern by. Obviously, he might be asking his engineer, well, how old are his tyres? Are they as old as mine? His engineer will probably say no.
Kern's got no DRS, he's got a DRS failure, so yeah, that's what will help him. But yeah, James, he does get through though, crucially.
Yeah, he does. Even without DRS, he gets the move done. Meanwhile, Skeven stays out for another lap. Will G is right behind now in DRS range, and I wonder if Skeven's going to put up a fight.
It probably will for his teammate, but I think Will G is going to have so much superior under braking. If he doesn't get moved on to turn 2, he will get done turn 4, I think.
Well, it's always a difficult place to set up a move into turn 4. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Meanwhile, Flavel there gets past Slater, and now he moves up to the podium positions, and he's got 6.3 seconds to find between these two. Meanwhile, here comes Will G up the inside in towards turn 4, picks up a time penalty there of 3 seconds. Still side by side they go then towards turn 5. He goes up the inside and makes the move stick. A little bit squirrely on the exit of the corner, but Will G retakes the lead of this race as Flavel now picks up 3 seconds worth of penalties, and that advantage he would have had has now been scrubbed off the board.
Yeah, Skiran put a good fight for his teammate there, as but Will was always going to get through. That superior grip did prove superior, but you can't fault Skiran's fight there. He fought for his life there, but it was obvious Will was going to get through. He wanted that move, and he didn't want to get stuck behind that McLaren any longer, because obviously he caught a 5-second gap, so Will's put in some good laps recently. It's nearly 6-second gap after Ollie, so Will is in a good position here, and that penalty it may become moot, because obviously now Ollie Flavel got one there, and this may allow Westy to get second place. He can get second place for Westy here if Flavel keeps picking them penalties, and Westy and Flavel sort of doing similar lap times, so the gap's very similar. Skivan does pit, you go on the softs, and he's going to rejoin that battle with Forbes, but I think Forbes will be slightly ahead. That's my prediction.
Well, there is Westy then chasing down Slater. As you say, Skeven comes into the pit lane. Westy is in DRS range of Slater. It is quite a long straight here for this DRS range to be used, but you can see even with that, he's not quite close enough. Forbes then setting the fastest lap of the race then, obviously on the soft tyres, now up to 8th place, looking to carve his way through the field. He's got SJ and he's got Cass ahead of him. That could be a real upset for Cass here, who's trying to really make the most of this race, because obviously he didn't have that great start. He disconnected at the very start of this race. He's looking to get as many points as possible, and with drivers like Forbes and Skeven coming through on the soft tyres, that will not help him one bit.
Yeah, I think Forbes will get by pretty easy. Skevan is a little bit further back, but the delta's well over a second, so yeah, he's going to struggle with that Skevan. So he's got to try and catch Kern. He's got to try and catch him and get by him. That might allow a little bit of extra leeway to Skevan in particular. But Kern's doing a good job. He hasn't really done much this season, but he's doing a solid job there in 5th place. I'm impressed by him today. Westy, coming back to James Slater, can he get by here? No.
No, not down towards turn 13. It's a very risky move going into 13 there. Very tight corner, especially when you're braking and steering at the same time. It's not ideal, but Westy here is looking to way past the Red Bull as Slater here, I think here, will be coming into the pit lane. That's why he dived into the right-hand side, which he does. So that is the Red Bull coming into the pits to make his stop now to go onto the soft tyres. Forbes, meanwhile, has got past SJ. And yeah, you're right, SJ did let him through, just moved over to the right-hand side and just let the Mercedes through.
So that might be quite clever as you get DRS, but he had an absolute tag slap coming out the final corner, so no, that, he's not going to get a race past there. But yeah, quite interesting how he let him through there. But maybe SJ's hoping that Forbes can drag him along to get to Cass, but Forbes is going to be so much quicker than the middle sector. That's not going to work, I don't think.
Well, you can see here Forbes now trying to chase down Cass for 5th place, and now it just looks like, well, actually everybody has now made at least one stop in this race, but drivers like Z3 and Z3 and Clone will probably have to pit again. For Yarnell, though, he may be able to get those tyres to the end of the race, but the way he's battling along with Clone, I can rule that one out.
No, I think these guys, they might want to pit and battle for the fastest lap. They might want to do a qualifying sim at the end. They seem to be doing a side-by-side sim alright, so maybe we want to come in and do a qualifying sim. I don't know, set fastest lap, but yeah, them two guys, they're obviously, they've had the incident, so it's going to be a bit of fun, obviously. They want to maybe, I'm sure the fans aren't complaining for sure.
Absolutely not. We're not complaining either. But yes, remember that One Hub Racing, the fastest lap of the race point, is awarded inside the top 10 and outside it as well. So there's a chance to score points even if you've had the worst race of your career. So just be ready to see all of those top 10 come in towards the end of the race and try and go for that extra point.
Yeah, I think that's inspired by the bad race in Suzuka once. I made about 20 pit stops just getting past that, so that's what inspired the rule to happen. So you thank me for that. Maybe as Forbes, he's got one on Cassie, he's got to get his move done. Surely Cass is struggling on them medium tyres, very old medium tyres, and Forbes does get the move done. And what's the gap to Kern? He's 3 seconds to Forbes. He can get a podium. I think a podium's on for him. If he can get past the Williams driver, he can catch up to Westy, he can definitely get a podium.
The only issue is, obviously, with the soft tyres, no matter where you go, they wear quickly, even if there's a tyre.
It's quite early as well, so yeah, that might cost him at the end. But he's got to just go. He's got to maybe try and conserve a little bit when he's in clean air. He'll still catch, but yeah, I think he's got to conserve the tyres a little bit now and attack when he's on the back of that Williams.
Well, attack he'll have to do. He's now 2.5 seconds behind. Meanwhile, Forbes here hasn't quite got away from Cass with the momentum he wanted. Cass is still within DRS range as they'll head through 11-12 and into the braking zone of turn 13. 9 laps to go here with Will G still leading. Flavel in second and Westy in 3rd place. And yeah, Cass nowhere near able to make a move down the inside there.
No, yeah, I think the grip is just the grip in this final sector. This is where the grip is going to drop. This is where the most of the grip coming from. So he's going to be out of DRS range. He's going to be quite. No, I think he's going to say hang on. But I've been about the casting. He's got pure corner exit. So even if he's in DRS range, I don't fancy him getting the move done.
Well, there you can see on the bottom right hand side of your screen, the dashboard there, the yellow fuel light has come on for Cass, which means at his current pace settings he will not make the race end with the fuel that he has, so he's got to conserve some of that fuel at some point.
And he's got the charging ski van behind as well, so yeah, that it's not going well for our champion competitive day. Obviously Westy in the podium position, and Cass he's going to be around 6th, 7th place in this race, so yeah. Saving fuel this early on, it's not good. Obviously, you do see that light come on maybe a couple laps ago, but for 7-8 laps ago, that indicates to me that he underfueled the car at the start, and he's going to have to pay for it now at the end. Obviously, he wanted a good start, and he was very unlucky with that disconnection, and he's recovered well so far, but yeah, and his DRS is very low as well, so he's got to manage everything now.
Yeah, and that's one of the main things in these Formula 1 cars. There is a bit of management you have to do. 8 laps to go here. Will G still leading the way. 7 and a bit if you're going to be picky. as he makes his way now towards the last 2 corners. And Clone there picking up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles in this race. But there you can see Will G making his way round now the final corner. Lap 21 here of the Russian Grand Prix. And Will G leads the way by 8 seconds. It's an incredible lead for him so far. Yeah. And I'm just having a look at his stats for the season. And I can't see him on the list. No. I know he's had a name change.
Yeah, it's Foxy LR. It's Foxy Dude. That's who he is. So that's his.
Oh no, the name change has happened. He's 13th in the standings in the Ferrari. Only a podium this season for him. This could be his first race win of the season. It's been purely dominant right now. Meanwhile, we're going to cut with Skeven and SJ as they were battling in towards turn 2 there. Skeven right on the back of the racing point now as we head towards turn 4. Watch out for the battle as well between Flavel and Westy. SJ runs wide on the exit of turn 4. Skeven looking for that move. Of course, he's on the soft tyres. He will be able to have better traction. Look at this now. He's looking for a move up the inside of turn 6 into the braking zone of turn 7. Up the inside he goes. Contact between them, and Skeven there makes contact with the racing point. Around he goes, and that was always going to be an ambitious move there.
Yeah, that's not the usual take this spot, and yeah, it was just, I could see that happening. I could just see him turning in there, and Skeven, he tried to avoid it, but he couldn't. It was, he almost bins it there. He's a bit rattled after that, I could see. And 6 seconds, and he's going to burn his tyres before doing that as well. So I think he's going to be locked into 8th place. I think that he was a shame because he was doing quite well. He could have maybe got 6th place, but that's all gone now for the McLaren driver. What were your views on that? Do you think it was maybe a bit ambitious from the McLaren driver, or do you think
he did see a gap? He saw a gap forming. He was closing. And he just tried to open the door. Unfortunately for him, it just didn't work. The door was already closing, and unfortunately for Skeven, that hasn't worked. And as you say, it's not a conventional overtaking opportunity. Drivers wouldn't be expecting you to stick your nose up the inside there, but I don't know. I think we're going to leave that with the stewards. I think you will end up there anyway.
I'm glad I'm not a steward. Let me tell you that. I did that a few years ago, and never again.
Well, Westy here is closing onto the back of Flavel as we make our way to the closing stages of this race. But of course, as these two battle, Will G will ever extend his lead. Westy might be aware that Flavel has those 3 seconds worth of time penalty, at least 3. I haven't seen any others. I've seen that 1 penalty. We'll have to go through those penalties in a second, Jamie. But Westy, from my recollection, doesn't have a single penalty.
No, he's been quite good at avoiding the penalties all season, and yeah, he hasn't got one, so yeah, he's in a net 2nd place, but the race instinct, you want to get the move done, don't you? And Will G's got a couple of penalties, so maybe, I think Will G's got 6 seconds, I think. Yeah, he's got about 6 seconds, so Westy, if he can get his move done and Will G picks up a penalty, Westy could well win this race.
He could do, and Westy will be looking for a race win this season. He's got to take advantage of Cass there, who's not in a great position whatsoever. Looking at Westy here, so far this season, he's had 3 wins to his name. The only other driver that has more wins than him this season is Leon, who's on 6. So Westy, this may be a chance for race win number 4, but I think you can safely say he's rank outsider.
Yeah, if I was bookmakers, I'd put him outside. Yeah, he'd definitely 2nd favourite for the win with all his penalties. But yeah, he's got to get his move done, and he's got to increase his pace as well because Will G is still pulling away. So yeah, but I think Westy will take 2nd place with a Ferrari 1-2, and that will help Ferrari extend their lead in the 6th championship. Which earlier in the season it looked like Williams were going to take that quite comfortably, but a bit of carnage at Williams, and Ferrari took a full advantage, and they're going to have one hand on the title and another one too.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We've still got a handful of laps left to go here. In fact, we've got 6 laps to go, or 5 laps to go, 4 and a bit if you're going to be picky. Where Will G still leading the way. 8.8 now is the gap between himself and Flavel. Westy 3rd. There is Kern, who's running in 4th place in this race right now, and some points needed for Williams after some poor showings recently. Currently in the standings, I'm just having a look now and seeing where he is. I believe He is, he's 17th in the standings. Of course, joined midway through the season, 6 points so far. This will be a great boost to his points tally.
Yeah, he's going to have a bit more than him if you, and he's driving really well. He qualified quite well as well. I think he qualified, I think it was around 6th place, was it? Yeah, he qualified 5th. So he had a good qualifying and a good race. I think he's just going to miss out on the podium, but yeah, he's going to get some really good points. That will help Williams defend that, maybe defend that 2nd place constructors, because I think Ferrari have got the constructors now. They've got 2 really good drivers in top form, and yeah, I know Will and Westy, they do communicate together, so I think Westy will maybe want Will to get a race win, because Will has deserved it, because he's down 30th for championship, but he's had an awful lot of bad luck this season. He's had numerous race wins taken away from him by safety cars. He's on for 2nd place in Monza. He got that punch on the final lap, so I think Will's due a bit of good luck.
I think so. You reminded me of that heartbreak of Monza there. I'm sure he wouldn't have been reminded of that, or wanted to be reminded of that anyway. But yeah, Will G at the moment looking like he's been in dominant form today. He really has. 9 seconds now between himself and Flavel. He could get himself another penalty and he'd still be fine. So yeah. I mean, that's the standard. That is the the pace he's been setting all day today, not just in the race but in qualifying as well. 0.7 of a second faster than Flavel. There's not often you get to say that.
No, it's normally very close to qualifying. Normally get the whole field separate by a second, half a second. For him to stick on pole by 0.7, that is extraordinary. Maybe he just loves this track. I know some drivers that just love certain track. Maybe this track is a signature into the bone. Because look at this is a 10-second gap in quite a competitive field. So yeah, you have to tap off to him. And well, I'm not going to jinx it yet, but all you have to do is keep it pointing in the right direction. You should get it done.
Bit of an update for the fastest lap of the race outside the top 10. Both Jarnell and Clone are into the pits, and as you predicted, Jamie, they're going to battle it out and duke it out for the fastest lap of the race outside of the top 10. Yeah.
They've been a bit. They've obviously spread out a little bit now, so maybe they're trying to go for this a bit more seriously as a Red Bull training. But obviously now lap cars do ghost when the cars around them, so. Yeah, that Red Bull won't get too affected by by Jarno. But yeah, Jarno was very lucky. Obviously, he had a good start, but then he got one incident, and yeah, I think his head's dropped during that. Meanwhile, there's not really any battles left. So I wonder if Albert will surely pit and go fast lap. You have to say he's in 11th place. He's got nothing to lose, so he should be in the pits this lap as well.
Well, we shall wait and see. Meanwhile, Will G is making his way now around the final couple of corners. Just to give you an idea of the fastest laps of the race so far, Skeven inside the top 10, 134.1, and those outside of the top 10 is Albrecht, 135.5. Those are the fastest laps of the race so far. Now, I'm thinking here that Will G will back off here. Yeah, you can see he's down to mode 1. In the he's back up to mode 3 now. I thought he was going to save up the ERS for later on in the or on the final lap to try and go for the maximum.
Yeah, he's maybe gone for that. Yeah, he's gone to do one now. Obviously, we've seen I think Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone where he did a fast lap to final lap long times. But yeah, Will G can go for it, but he's going to have to put a pretty special lap in to get a fast lap, because at the moment it's a 34.1 and his best lap's a 35.0. So I think that's an impossible task for the crowd driver, but you might as well try it. He's been it. Speaking of being in it, Z3 has spun it in the pit wall.
And that's going to be very difficult there for Albrecht, because he just came into the pits. That could have been a point on the board right there, but now he's got to battle away between Jarno and Clone for that last lap, and Z3's now out. Z3's binned it at turn 2, into the wall he went, and that is the points gone there for Z3, running pretty well there. But that is going to be a kick in the teeth to Albrecht, because he's just pitted in for those tyres. He's a long way ahead though, so he should be able to take that 10th place.
He might get 2 points now. He's not been lapped yet, I don't think, and he's going to get a fast lap to Jonas. So he may get 2 points here. That might be a benefit to him. You never know. He's got 1 point in the bag already, because Jarno next has been lapped already, and Will G started his final lap. So So for them two can't improve their position versus Jonas. So yeah, it might work out for him.
Well, Flavel has picked up another 3-second time penalty. That might be him. That could be him waving the podium goodbye. It could be. You never know. But Will G at the moment leading this race as he heads through turn 3 onwards towards turn 4. He'll be really cautious as Jarnell there sets the fastest lap of the race outside of the top 10. He will be wanting now to see all 4 tyres make it to the checkered flag. He really wants this win. We know he does. He's been dominant all day today. The only thing he's going to miss out on, I think, is going to be the fastest lap of this race. Led every lap he possibly could so far as he makes his way now through turn number 10. This could be win number 1 for Will G and the 4th win for Ferrari this season. All of the wins for Ferrari so far have come from Westy. Today, though, it could be an entirely different story. Will G now winding down through the last couple of corners. Through turn 14 he goes. He's only got a handful of corners to go. Turn 15 coming up, then through 16, and looking laboriously at those tyres, keeping that tyre graphic up as he now makes his way through the penultimate corner of turn 17. Around the final corner, Will G is going to score his first win of the season here at the Russian Grand Prix. A great drive, a dominant drive from Will G, and a well-deserved 25 points. Flavel comes across the line. He will finish in 2nd place, but Westy gets him on penalties and will jump up to 3rd place, or to 2nd place. So it is a Ferrari 1-2 with Flavel finishing in 3rd, Kern in 4th, Forbes in 5th with Caster in 6th, SJ 7th, Skeven coming across the line. He's lost a bit of front wing. He'll finish in 8th place. Slater moves now up to 7th place thanks to penalties, and Albrecht there is currently trying to set the fastest lap of the race. Just to give you an update on that one, Jarnell's got the fastest lap of the race overall. He's also got the fastest lap of the race outside of the top 10. Inside the top 10, I'm just having a look here. I think it is Skeven. Yes, 134.1 there. As now we can see Albrecht winding down. We'll be able to see if he can get the fastest lap of the race here as he winds down through the last couple of corners. Well, we'll have to keep an eye and see what happens, but we'll get to that in a second. But what a day for a new race winner here in the One Hub Pinnacle Tier. It is Will G who wins in Russia, his first race win of the season.
Yeah, congratulations to him. I have to say it's been long overdue. I have to tell you, he joined in France and he got a pole position in his debut. He's had a few pole positions, but he hasn't converted the race wins. Some of it was his own fault, some of it was bad luck, but today, that was as dominant drive as you can get. Over 10 seconds, and no real issues. He broke DRS early, and he had no, he wasn't really fighting. The only guys who were fighting were the guys that won the old tyres to count the pits. So, a pretty lonely race for him, but he won't care. A good win. And Ferrari, yet a 1-2, that's going to help them in both championships.
Well, let's take a look at the official, unofficial results here for the One Hub Racing Pinnacle Tier here at the Russian Grand Prix. It is Will G who takes his first race win of the season. Westy finishing in 2nd place with Flavel rounding out the top 3. It is Kern in 4th, Forbes in 5th with Cass in 6th, Slater 7th, SJ in 8th, Skeven in 9th, and Jonas Albrecht rounds out the top 10. He also got the fastest lap of the race inside the top 10. Jarnell in 11th and Clone in 12th. Jarnell picks up a point for fastest lap outside of the top 10. Non-finishers Z3, Unknown, Speedy Suarez, Gavin, PB and Danestar all not finishing this race, but a massive congratulations to Will G, a Ferrari 1-2. Can their day get any better, Jamie?
Definitely, no, we can't get any better. I only think it would have been better if they got the full 44 points in the fastest lap, but yeah, 43 points, I don't know, I'll take that, and a good drive. And Westy, I think he can set his championship lead as well, and he's looking. He's had a lot of podiums recently, and he's looking really strong for that championship. He's come from a long way back after like France, but he's had a hot streak form since then. He's hardly really off the podium, and I've got back up to both of them as a Golf Drive Day nominations, and I'm going to nominate Cohen. I think he had a really strong race. 5th on the grid, 4th over the line, and he showed some really good pace. So I'm going to nominate him for Driver of the Day. Almost on the podium, not quite.
And, well, it's my turn. I'm going to be wrong, but I'm going to put my neck on the line. I'm going to go for the race winner, Will G. You know, pole position and the fastest of them all to win the race. The only thing he didn't pick up on was the fastest lap of the race, but I think he'll let that go, to be honest with you. He had a fantastic race, dominant from start to finish, never looked in doubt that race win, so he gets my vote for driver of the day. And those will be your two options. Make sure you follow the league on Twitter. It's at OneHub Racing. Tomorrow you'll get a chance to vote out of those two for the driver of the day here in the Pinnacle Tier. Well, Jamie, that's a good return for me, I think. Next race coming up. I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah, it should be a good race. I believe it's Suzuka next, is it?
I believe you're right, yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, round 17. That sounds right.
Slightly different track to this. Obviously, that track really is punishing mistakes. A lot of gravel and a lot of high-speed corners and the S section around there. And overtaking is going to be difficult on Suzuka. So I'm looking forward to that because it's quite fun watching the car do a lap around there and qualifying. You can really get to see the cars push the limit around there. An old school track in a modern F1 age.
Absolutely, and hopefully you will join us next week for it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below as well. Make sure you go and follow our sponsors here at OneHub Racing, Next Level Racing. You can follow them at Next LVL Racing. You can follow me on Twitter if you really want to. It's at KS McGinley. You can also follow Jamie on Twitter at JamieMet92. Well, all that's left to say is, Jamie, I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, should be a good race. And obviously Westy, he's looking to increase that ground, and I believe he's 45 points ahead of Leon. No, 45 points. I believe he's 38 points ahead of Leon, and I believe he's about 20 some points ahead. I can't get the exact. So I can't remember the exact total, but he's almost a race win ahead of Casse. So yeah, he'd be looking to maybe sort of start to secure that championship, but there's a lot of guys behind that to win the race, and yeah, it should be a good one.
And we hope you can join us for it as well. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you now head over to the to the next tier of Prestige. That's the one. That's the word I was looking for. Make sure you join them now as they're getting underway for their, I believe they're coming to the end of their qualifying session. So make sure you go and join them. Make sure you go and join Alex for the race coverage there. In the meantime, though, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been Jay Metcalf.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Good night.